Hey there, Nicole. Love this question, and it's really going to illustrate why I take models through the process that I do. So, your question is, what is the best strategies for getting more visibility and exposure as a model? Here's why that's a problem. The tactics for somebody who does runway modeling is going to be totally different than somebody who does parts modeling. It's going to be totally different than somebody who does print modeling. It's going to be totally different than somebody who does beauty modeling. The strategies are going to be different because the niche that you're doing is different. If a runway model wanted to have more visibility, they would work on booking more runway shows. They would work on working with more designers, growing their network of designers. They would work on attending fashion events even if they're not walking. That's how they would start, growing their visibility and exposure. But if someone's a parts model, they're going to be reaching out to brands that have products. They're going to be doing their best to network at like conventions. They're going to be doing their best to, constantly show the parts that they are modeling, always having that updated, always showcasing options that they can do. That's totally different. Do you understand? So a better question is, what is the best strategy for figuring out what type of model you are, okay? And then growing the visibility of what you do well and why people should work with you. And this is literally why I coach models. Because in order to do that, you have to understand your fundamentals. You have to know why you're modeling. You have to know what your goals are. You have to know what fits you 100%, not just what you love, but what loves you back. You need to understand what exactly works in your area. Okay. Are you doing something that's in person? Are you doing remote modeling? Like, you need to understand this. Okay. You also need to know your rates, because what good is visibility and what good is exposure if your goal is to make money as a model and you don't have any rates? You got to make it make sense, okay? And again, this is why when I work with models, these are models who have already attempted to, alarms. These are models who have already attempted for over a year to get their career to where they want it to be. They've already tried things that have not worked. Okay? They've done the visibility, they've done the exposure, and they don't have the money that they want to show for it. Okay? That's why I work with models hands on. And that's the difference between modeling for a hobby and modeling for a hustle. Because a hobby model, you can do any and everything you want to, because it doesn't matter if you never get paid. You can do exposure to the cows come home because it doesn't matter if you get paid. But if you're a model who actually wants to make income, exposure and visibility need to translate into paid jobs. It needs to translate into an avenue for you to be paid for your time and talents. So even when you know your fundamentals, if you don't put together a portfolio and digitals that show, hey, this is what I do well, and this is why you should work with me, this is the quality of work I can provide, then when you start to work with people in your network, doing collab shoots, doing trade shoots, doing test shoots to get that visibility, to get that exposure, if you don't care about money, then that last portion of monetization and then of course scaling, it becomes irrelevant. So the strategies that you're going to use really just depends on what type of model are you, what type of model are you trying to become. If you just want to do this for fun, then just shoot with anybody, shoot with anybody, shoot with everybody, shoot yourself all the time, post it on social media. That's you getting your visibility out there, that's you getting your exposure out there, and that's all that matters. But if you're trying to make income, you need to take the time necessary to understand your fundamentals, to make sure that's reflected in your assets, aka your digitals and your portfolio. And then you need to actually network with creatives and brands and opportunities that fit your niche and your market, so that the visibility and exposure that you're getting by doing those projects shows people, again, what you do well and why they should work with you, and gives you more content and more materials to use to book paid jobs. But it's going to be drastically different if you do runway versus if you do parts versus if you do print versus if you do beauty. So until you understand what type of modeling best fits you, the strategies are secondary. So I'm going to challenge you to let me know right now in the comments what type of modeling best fits you. I'm not even asking for all the fundamentals. I'm asking you to tell me what type of modeling fits you 100%. Let's go from there.